Today, we're going to talk about how do we develop executive presence. As I put in the email, I call it qi chang, right? It's, like qi, like a field, executive presence. And we know that some leaders, they always get standing ovation and coveted respect, and some don't. Why is that? And some people, some leaders especially, seems like they have this natural tendency to attract more respect and acknowledgement. And we need to look at the definition. This is very good. When we are confused about something, when we have misconceptions about something, we always want to go to the very core, the definition. So there are actually three elements of executive presence. Gravitas, this is a Latin word for being very poised and very calm manner. It's basically how you act. And another part is communication, how you speak. And lastly, how you look. And people sometimes feel, oh, okay, it doesn't matter how I dress. Actually, they matter. It's one of the three important factors of the executive presence. So how you act, how you speak, and how you look, because the way you act demonstrates your confidence, your behavior demonstrates your confidence and your ability to communicate your thoughts and ideas. It's a combination. It's not just, oh, okay, I dress like an executive, but I talk like an intern. You have to be a combination of three. And most importantly, it is perception. It is all perception of you. It is somewhat objective. So we value leaders who appear calm, confident, and steady. We do not like manipulative, bossy boss, right? We do not like leaders who are jumpy, who are not calm, who are dramatic, who are not confident, assertive. And toughness or charisma alone don't work. Some leaders are charmer. Some leaders are like tough guy. Unfortunately, that's not executive presence, or at least that's the misconception of executive presence. And executive presence also means being present. It has nothing to do with the title. This is something that you don't necessarily need to be a leader to have the executive presence. When you have the executive presence, then you will be a leader, not the other way around. You want to be present, meaning being focused on the moment, not past, not future. Imagine this leader like, oh, we screwed up in this project. What are we going to do? What are we going to do? And worry about future. Oh, I heard the rumor from my boss, this whole department is going to be axed. How are we going to do? How am I going to find my next employment? Or how am I going to pay my 401k? How am I going to pay my mortgage? Blah, blah, blah. And that's not being focused on the moment. And also, while remaining aware of the concerns and the issues affecting the people around you. People at the leadership position have that accountability, that people are looking up to you. So executive presence is very important. And being present helps you to connect with your own sense of personal power. When we have that inner strength inside of us, that power radiates externally and people could notice, people will see. And that is to say that you feel comfortable in your own skin, that you naturally act like you mean it. And also you are able to work with other people, not over other people. A lot of people say, oh, okay, executive presence meaning, okay, I need to be like a boss, so I want to sound bossy. I want to act like a boss. Not necessarily. Good leaders are actually very easy to work with. They're listeners, they're problem solvers, and they're empathetic. So when gravitas, communication, appearance are in sync, you can create a strong sense of authority and make decisions that build trust. How you act, how you talk, how you look, they have to be in sync. And why do we need executive presence? It is obvious. It's not just a question of winning popularity or power. Oh, I have the most vote in the group. I have most power than my other counterpart. No, it's not like that. It is about having clear thinking and perception, and also you have the courage, the power, conviction, and all those things, the combination that in a crisis, and you are able to handle in conflict. And you also are very direct, knowing among all the other overwhelming tasks, you always know what is the priority, what is the highest priority for the group and for the company that you work for, and also for your own self. And those who have more executive presence, always have more energy and passion. Those people are always on the treadmill. Even when they're traveling, they pack running shoes in a duffel. They are energetic. They're not lethargic. They're not complaining, looking forward to Fridays and holidays and all that. That's not executive presence. And in time of change, when everybody is panicking, those who have EP are not. They always are calm and are willing to deal with change. And they are actually the person tell other people and demonstrate and showcase other people as a role model for them. Hey, it's okay. We'll get through this, because they see the very basic fabric of the nature of things. So no matter what outside circumstances changes, they remain calm. And also they're very growth minded. They are open to all kinds of opportunities. They are not always conservative. In other words, they are very open-minded and growth-minded. But they are also very confident in their own views. They have a structured paradigm that built over the years that is relatively stable and self-reliant and self-updating, self-upgrading. So they are very confident in showcasing their point of view because it's ever evolving, ever changing. And they are confident and they showcase that. They let people know that. In terms of gravitas, Ryan Holiday in his famous book, Obstacle is the Way, says that when there's crisis, when there's obstacles, and that is the opportunity, you should embrace that, meaning showing grace under fire. I mean, everybody wants stability, everybody wants sunshine and beaches, right? But actually, in a not so perfect world, we are dealing with the crisis, we're dealing with the problems every single day. And how you handle adversity, how you handle challenges will demonstrate your executive presence level. And you will show executive presence if you're poised and controlled in crisis and admit your errors. No wonder why they give Medal of Honor to those heroes who fight in war, whose combat went sour, right? All those combat plan were suddenly changed. And that's the time to show some heroism. That's the time to show real executive presence. This is across the board, either in military, in corporate world, even in family. In family, when there's hurricane, natural disasters, there's all kinds of things. Executive presence is prevalent. And the mindset and attitude for bouncing back after setbacks. Some people, when they get a strike for the setbacks, they stand down. But those who have strong executive presence take this opportunity as a perfect time to bounce back. Take Steve Jobs, for example. He was exiled from the very company of his own. He established that very company, but he was exiled by the board. And a few years later, he came back with even more, if not more, strong executive presence. And being decisive and assertive, meaning like you are controlled in crisis and you also admit your errors. When you make errors, that shows you are a human being. Everybody makes mistakes, but you take the accountability to admit your errors and use it as a feedback for the group, for the people to learn from the mistakes. And your team respects you if you listen, learn, and weigh up your options and decide what actions to take. And the thing about leaders do not necessarily know all the answers or do not know exactly what to do, but they are the person would gather information, listen each team member's information and opinions, and learn from each other and weigh up the options, because that is a responsibility. That is not easy to weigh up options. But once the options are weighted, pros and cons are calculated, then the actions are going to take, the consequences are going to be counted as this very person. So this is when and where you show your executive presence. Some people, it's easy to dodge the duty, it's easy to dodge the responsibility, but those are the perfect chance to show up, to demonstrate. And also speaking your truth. It takes courage to share thoughts and stand by conviction, like we shared last week, so-called quote unquote politics. People turn to navigate through certain things and compromise their moral values, compromise the very principles and the convictions they've been holding for years. And that is not executive presence. And willing to speak and willing to share thoughts with art, of course, with some skill to make things happen with the moral ground. And also giving constructive feedback. I put S sandwich, that means SHIT sandwich. When you give constructive feedback to your members, to your team members, the bad things is in the middle, is the patty, right? And then you layer it with good things on top and also another constructive motivation in the bottom. Yeah. Also, emotional intelligence. I strongly recommend everybody to read this book, to grab a copy of Daniel Goleman's Tesla book, Emotional Intelligence. It's also another book worth reading a couple of times. Emotional intelligence, basically, the traits that he mentioned are self-awareness, self-regulation, motivation. Are you a self-motivated person, or are you a person that is only motivated by outside factors or outside motivators? Are you an empathetic person? Do you hold the quality of empathy, especially when the people work for you or work under you have some crisis or have some difficulties? And also social skills. Those are all we call emotional intelligence. But most importantly, I think emotional intelligence are not just the intelligence of handling people. No, it is the intelligence of handling your own emotions. When you are in anger, are you able to pivot to turn that anger into something beneficial? When you are in despair or when you are in frustration, are you able to turn that around? That is emotional intelligence. That has nothing to do with our IQ and is definitely learnable. It's something that we need to work on. And also being authentic, build authentic connections with others. We actually always welcome those leaders or those people who share sincere and authentic connections. We see that this person is more of a human being, not just somebody who are higher up, are hard to reach, are hard to talk to, or hard to relate to, most importantly. And communication. This is very important. The way you speak is often seen as more persuasive than what you're speaking about. We pay a lot of attention to what we are speaking about, but pay relatively less attention to the way we speak. But a real leader with executive presence, they always value and they invest a lot of time and energy and focus on the way they talk. And if you just go to the YouTube, look for Stanford Business School, you look for any Fortune 500 executives, the way they speak, almost in a uniform way, almost, yeah. And the speaking skills, as my previous courses, the accent code, pay special attention to tonality, connectivity, and the syllables. This is my theory. The reason why there's a lot of American-born Chinese second generation, we call it a first generation American, they have less executive presence than some other groups are exactly that, the tonality. They speak like you need to pay attention to the communication skills, the accent code, the tonality, connectivity, syllables. They're always using uptalk. They're always using the raising tone. That's kind of annoying. That's kind of the impression that you leave people that you are not in the position of power. You are in the position of looking for agreement and acceptance. That is a natural, confident killer. And also grammar and clarity and voice quality, though they all matter. As a first generation professional, how are we going to improve that? We practice, just like exercising, we practice. Those things are not going to be naturally obtained or improved overnight. We practice. Yeah. If we are given a talk, we given a speech, we record it, and then we transcribe, we play it back. We look for the grammar mistakes. We look for the verbiage usage mistakes. We wanted to audit and continue to change, continue to pivot. Then gradually we'll be better and better. And also commanding the room. What do we mean by that? Some people, the way they walk in the room already sell them out. They walk in the room in a way that people all shut up, but people shut up just in awe, in pure respect. We all have that experience before. And well-respected people, well-respected leader walk in the room, everybody stops talking. Everybody listens to this person. Everybody aspire any word from this person. And this person not necessarily an orator. This person not necessarily speak a lot. But this person always smile, listen, and funny. And this person always easy to relate to. And he or she always use anecdotal comments. They use a lot of metaphors, stories, and humor. Why anecdotal narratives? Why metaphor? And why stories and humor? Because those things are what people love to hear, are what people can relate to, are what people can make a concrete concept in their mind. But if we give some very corporative jargons, we give big GRE, GMAT level words, and those things do not connect with them, let alone we do not have any humorous emotions. Yeah. And assertiveness, it is actually a balance of being clear and forthright about your need. Oh, I want this, I want this, I want this. Of course, I want the team to be like this, but also please do not ignore other people's need. There are genuine needs as well. However, some people are overly catering, overly trying to fulfill or to meet other people's need, forfeiting their own need or the organization's ultimate or utmost need. And that is also not good. That is not assertiveness. That's not executive presence. So act assertively also with fairness and empathy. And we all know that intimidation or bullying never work. We hate dictators. Who doesn't? Because that's fear driven and we hate that. And people could tolerate when they need you, when they have to pay the mortgage, but once they have a better choice, better alternatives, they will leave you. So intimidation and bullying never work. And body language. This is some soft skills that we also wanted to pay attention to. And people pick up the cues before you even say a word. Like as a former professional waiter on a big group, I always know who to give the bill to, and I never wrong. Yeah, I'm not super smart, but I know because the cues that very person says a lot. You know, he is in charge. He has the money, and they be happily accept the bill and pay with a credit card and give me a fat tip, right? So the communication ways include the way you sit, walk, smile, and even enter a room. Again, there's a tons of videos, interviews of the Fortune 500 executives, leaders. You will see how they sit. They always come with smile, the assertive, confident smile. Yeah. How they enter a room is very chauvinistic. Yeah, they always let the ladies go first. And in a way, they look more like a servant than the quote unquote leader. They always let the team go first. And I bet a lot of you probably lots of business occasions, not anymore during COVID, of course, but back in the day, good old days when we used to shake hands with each other. And we all know that it's very annoying that this person's handshaking is weak and it's not sincere. It's like, it's very, very weak. But if you see another person, his handshake is very firm, very candid, what impression you have for this person, right? And also eye contact. I've been in other kinds of occasions that one person will shake hands, but looking at another person. That is very annoying, very annoying. And another person's looking at me. Yeah, this is my business card. Yeah, this is my business card. That's why I said during the virtual working from home environment, please position your video cam in front of the screen you're going to see other team member. Yeah, eye contact, even in the virtual setting, is still important. Appearance, body language. You know, some people like to wear shiny suits and shiny stuff, and actually well-groomed and polished are still better, or at least have better impact than physical beauty, youth, height, or weight. In the building that I'm currently in, there's lots of companies. I like to watch people. Every time in the elevator, I can almost tell who is the CEO, who is the VP level, because they all wear tags, you know. And I first see their grooming and see their dressing. Then I'll look at the tag. Almost certainly, it is CEO, VP, or other kinds of C-suite leaders. How they groom, how they polish. Or if you go to the airport, not going to the public area, go to the lounge, American Express lounge or Aldi lounge or the first class zone. You will immediately know who is the boss, who is the executive there. Yeah, they are all uniform. They are almost uniformed in grooming style, in polished. I'm not saying that you need to buy a $2,000 suit or you need to buy those Tumi suitcases when travel, but still grooming and polishing, they're still better than fancy Louis Vuitton suitcases. Yeah, people are very superficial, including you and me. We judge a person by its look. We judge a book by its cover. So if you are in the position of power, or if you want to be in the position of power, you want to develop your executive presence, please make sure your dress matches your title and expected perception. Granted, especially some of our members, you work in the West Coast, you work in Silicon Valley, and Silicon Valley has this tradition of rebellion, right? Back in the 70s, that hippies and hippies culture and the rebellion culture, that almost nobody seriously wear traditional Fortune 500 or Wall Street dressing code. But still, you want to match your title with the expected perception. Otherwise, we'll be in our own box, trapped, and we don't even know what's going on. Yeah. So that's the end of the presentation.